welcome to Brookfield Listenin, as we're calling it. It's going to be a series of podcasts that we're going to put out, talking to local people about how the pandemic's been for people and where they're at, and just to find out what we might be able to help with locally from Soundskills. My name's Chris, and in the studio today we have three people, all local residents, and the first one on my left is...
I'm Wendy, I'm 41, I'm from Brookfield, I've lived here all my life. I'm a care worker and I've got 2 children.
I'm Dave, I'm 77. I've lived here for 70 years, I'm Brookfield. Retired, of course, and that's about it, really.
Don't
and
look
I'm
it.
Natalie, I'm 37 years of age. I've lived on Brookfield all my life. A family of 6 children. Woohoo.
So first question, and it's just an open conversation, but we'll obviously try and talk one at a time. And I'll be listening more than giving an opinion on stuff. Good. We want to hear from you guys. How has the pandemic affected you and people you know on the estate? And that could be positive or negative. Whoever wants to go can go.
Me? Why me?
Go on.
Well, when it first come in, first lockdown, I actually did quite enjoy it. It was nice and peaceful, and it was nice. Nobody come into your house and bothering you. But then obviously as things go on, and I was pregnant through it as well, which was kind of a bit of a crappy time. You have to go in with masks on, and your partners can't go in, and even on your scans they weren't allowed in, so it was kind of a shit thing, really. But I think the longer it's gone on, the worse it's got. I mean, same with kids, isn't it? Yeah, she's pulled out of school now. She's completely lost all faith in school and everything now, because I think she's just been used to being at home for that long, and they're saying about they're only giving them predicted grades. So she's completely just gone completely out of school now. She's not even bothered anymore.
Oh.
She don't want to go.
So she's in her final year.
Yeah. I think she's got about a month left, which isn't long, but she just said, they're sat there, they're not doing anything. So she said, I don't really see the point in it. We're not doing no GCSEs or anything, so what's the point of me being there? Which is, I can understand her, really. There's not going to be proms or anything, is there, again? So...
No. And I think that's been one of the things that people talk about. It's been such an alien, strange thing in all sorts of ways, work or school or home or whatever. But I know sticking with the home thing, you have a big family, don't you?
Yeah.
So how has that been, home with a big family?
Well, it was great not going up for school. But it was stressful. Obviously, having so many kids, all at different levels of education, you can only be in one place at once, can't you? So, you've got one kid saying they're struggling with this, another kid saying they're struggling with that. She's struggling with this. It was really, really stressful. And you had to learn to adapt to it. You did. And then obviously, school only give them one laptop to share. So you've got one doing the schoolwork at 9 in the morning till whatever time, then another one's up till 11 o'clock at night finishing theirs off. But it's been a crap year, really, hasn't it?
14, what is it, longer than a year?
Yeah, March, weren't it, last year?
Yeah.
So how was the school homeschooling and shit with you?
Didn't do it. No.
I stopped doing it eventually because it was stressing me
sick of
out
arguing.
that much. Yeah, and we're not trained to be teachers.
No, I don't get paid for it either.
I'm not good at stuff, maths and stuff like that. I'm petrified of mathematics, to be quite honest. So it was a headache. And you don't understand it yourself. You can't tell your kid how to do it, can you?
It's even worse now trying to get them back to school.
Yeah.
The performance I've had last week and this week's horrendous.
What, just because they've got out of the habit?
They've got in the routine, haven't they, staying at home?
Staying up at all hours, aren't they?
Playing on computer and doing whatever.
Setting fire to grass.
And how have the schools tried to help with that?
They haven't.
No, they're not bothered.
They've kicked off at today because of Chef not being in. And he's just said, well, she's 16, can't really, for the sake of a month. He said, well, she can't just pull out. But it's all right when
you can't force them either.
Exactly.
You can't drag them to school.
I can't even make an appointment at a doctor's page now because she's at that age. So they're saying to me to force her to go to school. You can't do it, can you, at that age?
And has that been the tale that other parents have been talking about, the difficulties, or have some done it okay, do you think?
Some have done it okay, but not many.
I think it's the ones that were key workers mainly, innit?
Yeah.
You know, because their kids did still go to school. They've stayed in their routine, haven't they?
Mm.
But like people like me who haven't, it has been hard, and you she can't stand it now. She's every day she's got something wrong with her. She's hated going back to school.
Not being allowed to play with her friends as well.
Yeah.
That's a big effect on him.
And I think that presumably that'll be a long-term effect, won't it? That'll take some getting back.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I don't think things will ever be the same again, will they now?
No.
So what about you, Dave?
Well, I'm different, of course, because I'm on my own. But I remember first lockdown, putting a date of 12 weeks into the future, saying, it'll be over, all be over by then. And suddenly, it's like 12 months has gone by and it's no better.
It just shows, though, doesn't it, that 12 months, it's gone so fast in the blink of an eye. And we've not done anything, have we, really?
No, well, even more than that, I'm doing less than I were when I hadn't got any time.
Right.
Because I just can't be asked anymore, quite honestly. You know, I'll come downstairs in the morning, I'll make me breakfast, and then I think, what can I do? And I just watch telly all bloody time.
Yeah, I think I do that now.
What's the point? What's the point? Get dressed.
Well, I've got all my gardening and that to do, and I just can't be
Can't
bothered.
motivate.
No.
So do you think motivation has been an issue locally for quite a few people?
Well, people are different, aren't they? I mean, a few of my mates don't live on Brookfield, but the way they've gone through it has been like, it's the end of the world. I can't go out for a pint with my mates and all this. And you think, well, that's the way they are. Some people, they're all different. Everybody's different. And some can cope. You know, you're okay, don't you? Live some Maranut. And I rang him up one day, and it were about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And he took his time coming. I said, are you all right? He said, well, I'm still in bed. I thought, what? He says, yeah. He said, I just can't be bothered getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Which is not like him normally.
Oh, not at all. He's always doing something, you know.
I think a lot of people have suffered a lot more, haven't they, now with mental health issues.
I've heard a lot of people deaths,
and
hanging
so
themselves.
many people died and killed themselves through it. It's just unreal. I've never heard so much
I've
in my
heard,
life.
especially this weekend.
Yeah, somebody else has gone today, haven't
Yeah,
they?
that's in it.
It's
So
just
young as
sad.
well.
Depression's terrible, isn't it? I didn't realise how it would affect people so
It's
much.
affected a lot of people, this.
It's that freedom, though, isn't it? You've lost all your freedom to go out and just...
Yeah. I went
know.
to town today. First time I've been for weeks. Just went into town to do a little errand.
Because we're social beings, aren't we, normally? And,
Yeah.
And if you're not able to do that, it's quite a chunk
It's a
out of your
shock,
life,
innit?
isn't it? It is. Do you think we'll kind of get back to that over time, or will there be things that carry on, do you think?
I think a lot of things will carry on, to be quite honest, like social distancing for shops and whatnot, and mask wearing, and I think we're just stuck in that era now, aren't we?
This is our life now, these masks. Never going to end.
Like China, aren't we? Where
Yeah.
Really
Japan,
don't.
they all wear masks as well, don't they?
Yeah. But they were kind of doing that through pollution anyway. There was a bit of a culture of that, weren't there?
Yeah.
But it's one of the things, you know, because you can't, even simple stuff like you can't see whether somebody's smiling or whatever, you know, expressing themselves with a mask, obviously. There's quite a difference. So tell me about, in terms of your daily routine, Dave, that's changed in that you weren't going out. So what were the main things that you kind of missed doing?
Well, going around to see people more than anything else, you know, because we've been in the car as well. I'm in a car. It was easier for me to just get in the car and say, I'll go and see such and such today. But they can't even do that. You know, you frightened doing it. I never saw my brother. I never went round at Christmas, so I missed out on the Christmas as well. And it's all been like personal things like that, really. But you get through it. You've got to get through it. Otherwise, as you say, you feel really suicidal. And I don't want to feel suicidal. I'm getting to this age, you don't want to terminate.
Did you get through some of that? Did you adopt like digital stuff? Were you online with people? What did you use?
Well, I've always been on WhatsApp and Facebook, watching Facebook and seeing silly comments that these buggers put on and stuff, you know.
watching Babe Station.
But did you do any like online Zooms or conversations?
No, I've never learned how to do that. Never learned how to do it. And I thought I'm gonna learn how to do editing and that, but I never got around to doing that.
I know a few people who said, "Yeah, I'm gonna write a book.
Yeah,
I'm gonna learn to do this, learn to play guitar." What about you two in terms of the Zooms and all of that online stuff?
Oh, FaceTime.
I couldn't stand it with the Zoom classroom stuff. I hated it, so I just didn't even do it. I didn't have a clue how to do it, so I just basically launched my phone across the room and said, "I'll piss off." I just couldn't. I'm not technically minded like that, and it really irritated the life out of me. Hated it. I did.
I've got FaceTime to FaceTime people. Have you?
Yeah, but I don't even really. My life's so hectic though. Anyway, innit? With having such a big family, so it didn't really affect me in terms of not going to the pub or anything, because I don't really generally do that anyway. But it was more the fact of like, we do like to go camping at weekends and stuff, or just disappear to caravan in Wales, having a walk around Trafford Centre, having something to eat, stuff like that really did affect me.
Family time.
Yeah, going to the cinema and stuff like that, fairgrounds, that did really affect me. I hated that fact when we just couldn't go and do that.
And I think part of that good stuff you can do with families people have spoke to me about the fact that because they've not been able to do that, there's been a bit more friction in families, and the frustrations have come out sometimes with people that you're kind of connected with. Have any of you guys found that difficulties amongst family?
Yeah, my parents ringing me up to do this, that and other. It's annoying.
Do shopping and stuff, you mean?
Yeah, when I could have just gone round and got it done, but they're having to ring me to go around.
Yeah.
Where if I'm passing to go to the spa, I've had to nip in.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore. So then they're ringing saying, do this, and I have to get out my seat quick and do it, or they fall out on me. Because they're old and they want it doing there and then.
They're more prone to catching illnesses, aren't they, as well? So you sort of want to keep them safe, don't you? But on the same time, they're still doing your wedding.
Yeah.
Have there been certain family members who've coped less with it, do you think? Is there a kind of an age variation?
My dad didn't cope well with it at all. He really didn't cope well because obviously being a plasterer, he couldn't go out to people's houses working, and it really affected him mentally. But then, like I say, obviously I lost him to this. When he did come out, we only spoke to him through the window, and he got diagnosed with PTSD through it because he'd seen that many people die at the side of him in hospital, and they just left him there for like 5 hours, and that really mentally it tortured him. So it did affect him a lot. So like you say, I think age difference, I think sometimes maybe because we're younger, you can sort of cope a bit better, can't you, with things like that? More than what
We've
the
got
older
young
generation.
kids as well to keep us going.
Yeah, so you have to keep going.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think about the age thing, Dave? Being young.
Well, I've only got one nephew who lives in England anymore, and he's in early 30s now. He works. It doesn't seem to have bothered him. He loves going out with his mates. They're out every weekend. He's a great Liverpool supporter, so he's got a season ticket for that, so he hasn't been able to go to any matches. But it's not got him down. He just gets on with things. It's the way he is. People are different, aren't they? I remember you heard last Christmas when he said, "Are you coming this Christmas?" I said, "No, I don't think I will." He said, "Well, why not? You're in our bubble, aren't you?" I said, "I've never seen you for 12 months. How can I be in your bloody bubble?"
That bubble.
Oh. So I didn't go.
See, I weren't bothered this year. I said, you know what, sod it. We've been through enough as it is. So I just invited people around. I weren't bothered. I thought enough's enough now. And I think your mentally means more than what physically, doesn't it? Your mental side of things.
Have you all had your vaccines now?
No, I've not even been sent for, and I should have done,
both,
really.
Both mine now. I'm immune.
Have you not had yours through work?
No, Chris.
She wouldn't take it, that's why. She was frightened to death of what it might do.
Frightened of dying.
They've never sent for me, and I think they should have done, really, having Crohn's disease. Because obviously my immune system's compromised, and they've never even sent for me.
So why are you worried about it, Wendy?
Dying. I'm worried about dying. Not worried about the needle. It's the after effects.
The needles.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Oxford one's worse. Yeah. So people are trying to avoid the Oxford one because they've pulled it back now, aren't they, out of a couple of countries.
I got Pfizer one.
Yeah, they've also got the Pfizer one, but a few people who I've spoken to have had the Oxford one.
Has he the Pfizer? It's fine.
Yeah.
Locally, has there been much conversation about should I or shouldn't I take the vaccine?
My mate, again, He says, I've got a question for you. He said, you've had yours now, haven't you? I said, yeah, I've done it. It's a centre down, deep down. He says, were there a lot of Muslims in queue? I thought, I don't know where this is going, right? You know. I said, well, I can't remember really, but it is a Muslim place, that. He said, if I go to get me vaccine and there's no Muslims in queue, I'll turn around and come home. I thought, that's terrible.
Yeah, I get you, but yeah.
If they're not having it, why should he get it? Sort of
but aren't the ethnics more... They're saying that it's them who are more liable to get COVID, aren't they?
Well, you'd have thought
they're saying it's like the Muslim society and more, Indians, Pakistanis.
I think there's a higher percentage of ethnic minorities who are getting it, but there are various things that they're thinking might be to do with that. In that more of them are like poorer neighbourhoods. They're talking about potential genetic things that they might have that mean that as well. But there's also talk about congregation in terms of religious ceremonies and stuff. But I think on the whole, there's no evidence that they're behaving any differently than anybody else, particularly.
No. I don't think there is, no.
I mean, personally, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it now. I think it's just going to become the norm every winter now, this. Like a bit like
it's not flu, is it? I've not heard of flu last year.
No.
It was all COVID last year.
But are you aware that on people on the estate, do you know people locally who are refusing to take it? Or is it a fairly rare thing, do you think?
I've not heard anybody refuse.
No,
not refused, I'm just not ready to have it yet.
Do you think maybe there's not enough evidence in,
I kept saying I'll wait till Mum and Dad's had theirs. They've had it. Dave's had his. And I kept messaging Dave, see how he felt. It was all right. I will go for it, just not ready yet.
But what is there any reasoning behind that?
Because I was listening to too many people.
They're going to put a bug in her.
Looking at crap on Facebook saying people are dying, it weren't even true.
They're going to be able to read her mind with this bug that they're going to put in.
Facebook's worse than some paper.
I know.
But that's, of course, Facebook and social media and stuff is the thing that lots of people have turned to, isn't it? Like you're saying, I spend a lot of more time watching telly. Lots of people spend more time on social media, don't they?
Yeah.
So what are the other things that have been going around on social media? Because I don't do it a lot.
Deaths, a lot of bloody deaths, isn't there, with this?
An awful lot, and it's more younger people.
All younger ones who are on their own.
Yeah. There's been loads of young people like seen on Facebook that have and it's quite shocking really how many young people have actually gone. I think I've heard more younger people than older people dying.
I've heard more younger people die because of this.
And I've not known anybody that's died.
With COVID or just in general?
With COVID.
I've seen people at work die of COVID.
Yeah, well, you would there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I've just seen too many. I've seen more die with mental health.
See, my dad didn't die of COVID. He did have COVID, but it was on the oxygen for so long that it killed him. It made his lungs into bricks, basically, yeah. It's oxygen poisoning.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so you'd think, really, why would you...
Well, they keep sending me a letter from practice, Ribbleton Medical Centre, seeing as you're one of the at-risk, because I've got asthma to start with and COPD, and I'm diabetic, and I haven't had any sort of symptoms apart from a cough that I've always bloody got. I've had that years,
Yeah.
So I've never...
Well, when my dad first went in with it, 2 days after he went in, he actually got his letter for his vaccine.
Did he have the vaccine?
No, you can't have it within 90 days of having COVID, can you?
Jesus.
So, but then he was back. He was in for 3 months, weren't he? In and out.
One of the things that I came across, because we've been doing some work with the Mela and working with South Asian people in Preston around COVID, and when I was looking at the specific areas and the rates of COVID and stuff, Brookfield was one of the worst.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I didn't believe it. It's crap again, what you're looking at.
Is there any reason for
it's
that?
Brookfield and Holmes Slack was the worst one.
I don't know. I think it's too early in the research to kind of know that. But what I was going to ask is, what are your perceptions of why that might be? Do you think?
Do you think maybe it's because there is a lot of kids on the estates?
There is a lot of kids what's not listened and gone out all the way through it.
Is that maybe the reason why carrying it back home and?
But why does it not happen on larches or not as much or? 'cause
Not a lot up Tag Lane neither, but yet there's 3 or 4 care homes around there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of care homes up there, aren't there?
But honestly, Brookfield and Homeslack is the worst one for COVID.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's to do with certain big families. Maybe it's to do with we're more sociable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be all sorts of things, couldn't
Well,
it?
the park's been busy because of the weather, of course. When it were Easter holidays, they were all out on it. As I say, setting fire to bloody grass.
Oh, it's been horrendous that as well.
Every night last week
round
they
here.
come round, fire brigade, putting grass fires out.
See, I was
They're bored. The kids are bored. So they're setting fires on lines.
So none of mine even still go out now, doesn't he? She goes out. We won't step foot out of the house. So I don't know if it's really affected her mentally as well. She's just got into that used to being in and not because obviously I kept her in. And she just doesn't go out at all. Yeah, she doesn't go out. Well, she never does anyway, does she?
But that is a big thing, isn't it? There is the school implication with kids, but there is the friendship and going out and all that social stuff. How's it been with yours two?
Zealand, not been out that much, maybe once or twice. She's had sleepovers. She's a child, she needs to see her friends. Zealand's been working. She just started work, but she was stuck in a bed for how many months? Didn't want to do anything. But
there's that, at Zealand's age, there's that thing of, young and going out and how is she found a substitute for that? Has she started doing new things or different things?
She's actually gone back to work, hasn't she? She's at work now 8 till 2 every day. Then straight on back in her bed. It's that routine.
She does that.
Yeah.
She does a night shift. 3 on, 3 off. And even when she's not in work, she's just in bed.
I'm the same though.
She doesn't.
What else is good to do?
I spend a lot of time in bedroom. We just watch films and eat crap.
Eat.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do.
That's the only happy go-to now, really, isn't there? Because I'm still a bit unsure about going out and, proper socialising with, in shops and stuff. Obviously, we're having a compromised immune system. So it's still a bit like, do you want to go out? Do you want to be touching things? And, so we just tend to do more things at home now. And I think that will be like that for quite a while.
Shopping online as well. I've been doing a lot of shopping online, like me.
God, yeah.
Supermarket.
I think Just Eat bored me. I couldn't use
I've
before me. Oh,
But if money's tight, which it is for a lot of families, isn't it? Because they're not getting paid the full wage, if anything at all.
Or they've lost the job. Yeah.
So they can't spend like they want to do.
Yeah.
They can't do the room up or decorate or anything like that because, so that's another job that they can't do anymore, Because it always makes them feel better if they're doing something.
There does seem to be a whole lot more poverty now, doesn't there? Than what there ever has. I'd say a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more food banks running at the minute and, school vouchers and, things like that. There is a lot more poverty right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary, really, because it's not going to get any better yet, is it?
Not for a while.
There's no money coming into society at the minute, is there? Nothing's getting ploughed back in. So I think we're just going to go deeper and deeper down. And it's going to, kids are going to be back to hand-me-downs, aren't they? And, patches on their elbows.
And I think that COVID is... Because that was the kind of trend was maybe happening with that anyway, but COVID has sped that up a bit, hasn't it? I think. Have you come across any people or any tales about anybody who has made positive changes that in some ways that life has got a bit better because of an opportunity in COVID? Have you heard of anybody?
Does Ian who used to go at Escaf every day, but he'd only go in the Escaf every day because the bookies was facing it. And he obviously couldn't do either. So I think that bettered him a lot more because obviously financially, plus being addicted to gambling and obviously the pub as well. So I think that, was better for him. And I don't even actually sit now the pub's open. I've not even seen him in it. I've seen him going to bookies, but I've not seen him going into the pub.
Because Escaf were full last week.
Well, it's full today, but I've still not seen him in it and you always do see it, and do you know what I mean? He's one of them who stands out. But I haven't even seen him in it, so maybe he's just given up on the whole drinking idea now. Which
I think it's going to be terrible with businesses that do shut.
Yeah.
That are still clinging on for dear life.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Of which there's a lot.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's been a boost for my business.
Is it?
Yeah, doing kitchen, you know, obviously sanitising kitchens and whatnot in pubs, and it has been a boost. But obviously we still had to lock down in the first, you know, when we first had the lockdown. But when things got relaxed a little, we waited for authorisation and whatnot for council. It has been a bit of a boost for me.
And I think you could probably say, couldn't you, that people are in some ways more hygienic now.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Think about it more.
Yeah.
Is that for the better though, or for the worse? Because sometimes it can be for the worse, can't it? Obviously, over sanitising your kids' hands and, you know, being a bit more scared.
For bacteria and stuff, that can be a good thing for bacteria, can't it?
I don't think even kids are bothered, are they?
No, but some parents.
Yeah,
some parents are bad enough when
yeah.
they first have a baby anyway, aren't they? And it's going to mentally make them even more now, isn't it?
Mm.
And obviously, like kids, they've seen parents do it. They're going to follow them,
But do you,
aren't they?
if you go to the supermarket, do you watch the
Yeah,
trolley?
but that's the thing. You're not supposed to do that.
Oh, you're
Obviously, because I have a cleaning business and what, you've got to leave the spray on for 20 minutes before it takes any effect whatsoever.
Never
and they don't tell you
do
that.
they? No, they don't.
Same with like if you're doing your kitchen side, you spray it on and you're supposed to leave it for 20 minutes before you actually wipe it. That's the only way it kills the bacteria. But nobody's ever mentioned it.
Well, I must admit that I'm buying more cleaning stuff than I've ever
I know,
ever bought in my life.
Yeah. When it first come out, the first lockdown, I dealt my house and whatever, but
Did you?
yeah, then nothing after that.
No, I
That's
don't.
only because I got COVID though, but no,
Right,
nothing
yeah.
else. I'm gonna get it again. I'm gonna get it.
I did it first. When
Yeah,
I
that's
was,
what I mean,
when I
at
was ordering
first.
online, I was actually opening the packages outside in the garden.
Yeah, I did the
And
Chinese
throwing
ones.
everything out in the bin before I even
Yeah.
took it in the house.
Wow.
But no, I'm not.
Yeah,
not as
I
bad
weren't that
anymore.
extreme.
But it's like scare tactics, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of scare tactics were going on
yeah.
at the first.
Yeah, there were. So the online purchasing and stuff certainly I have people got into buying more takeaways and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I don't.
I think I looked on my account last month and I spent 460 quid
Yeah,
on
I've gone into-
takeaways for mum.
Jesus Christ. How many of you? How many?
There is 8 of us.
Oh, wow, that's not
So-
bad. It's only 50 quid a week.
Yeah.
It's like your shopping bill.
That's my month.
Sometimes it's cheap to get a takeaway nowadays, which prices at different supermarkets.
It's more Chinese food that we spend money on because it is expensive, isn't it?
I have struggled with food. Getting fed up and making the same stuff all the time.
You have a
Yeah.
good meal every day, you. I always ask you what you have for your tea. Right, good
And
meal.
she always says, you know, I never really invite her.
You just make good meal.
Oh, so you show pictures but you don't invite her.
But I think eating habits have changed, I think, definitely. But, you know, there's potential long-term stuff from that, aren't there, in terms of people's health and that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
certainly
yeah.
I put weight on.
Exercise as well, isn't it?
But what is your perception about that health thing locally?
Well, it can't be healthy, can it? I mean, I've put about 2 inches on my belly.
Yeah.
Everybody's put
The
weight
one
on.
good
being
thing
lazy.
about it though, because we've all actually put weight on together.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't sort of now say, well, you put weight on because you have yourself. So it makes me feel a bit more comfortable, to be honest.
But has it been evident locally that people have been out doing exercise and stuff?
I've
No.
not seen
No,
anybody
I-
exercise
Oh, yeah.
on the street.
A lot taking dogs, but I wouldn't call that exercise. They were just plodding along with a little dog on a
No, I did take my dogs out before, so I won't now.
No, I
and I
didn't.
didn't in lockdown.
I open front door and let her take herself when she comes knocking
Yeah.
on window to come back in.
When first lockdown, I seen a lot of dog walkers though, did you?
Yeah.
Never
I
took
never
the dog
seen so
out
many in my
before.
life.
Really? 'Cause
It's
you're,
hard.
you're by the park, aren't you? So you see them.
Yeah, but there's not. They're there. You know, I usually watch to see whether they're picking up after them. That's
Yeah,
more
That's true.
Yeah,
Only if
I
there was
always
a
check
whole lot more dog people on the walks, you know, on the, past than there ever has been. There's not a lot of people are responsible dog owners, are there?
That's true.
Well, yeah.
So have there been other? I'm interested to know if you've heard of people changing jobs or starting to do different kind of hobbies or pastimes or anything locally. Have people made life changing kind of decisions?
I think a whole lot more people would have gone working for NHS, wouldn't they? Made them feel like they're helping in somewhere. I think there was more people going into care work and whatnot.
Right. You think people are more aware of other people now?
Yeah, but they're not self-centered. Not as many self-centered people. They're more like wanting to help. And,
Yeah, you might be right there, because when I were doing that food thing, it was great to see people's reaction when you turned up with bags of food and everything.
So that's maybe a good thing.
Yeah.
From it.
People are more willing to help others now, aren't they? And which that sort of went out the window, didn't it, years ago? You used to be able to knock on your neighbour's house for a cup of sugar, and most people don't even know the neighbours nowadays, do they?
I don't know mine. I don't know what.
And it's kind of sad, really, isn't it? Because everybody helped everybody out when we were kids, didn't they? And it's sort of stopped, hasn't it? And now, obviously, with COVID, like I say, it's kind of a good thing, really. People are more willing to help others now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think in some ways when I've been out and about, I don't know, it's a perception, but maybe people say hello a bit more. Just because, even if it's not a conversation, just a small connection.
Makes someone's day, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think that maybe happens a bit more nowadays.
Making eye contact, because as you said before, if they got a mask on, you don't know whether they're smiling or
you don't want to wink, especially if it's some guys like,
hello, sunshine.
Yeah.
So other than, you mentioned the food thing, handout, have you heard of other examples of help being given? What have people been?
There's loads. I've seen loads, like there's random acts of kindness.
Oh, yeah, I've seen loads of groups.
Loads of, St Matthew's Church, they run I don't know if they've stopped doing it now, they run a food bank on a Thursday or a Friday. There's the Signclose one, there's the Mooinoot Pantry Shop, isn't there? And there's also Samuel Street one as well there, the YMCA, they're doing one. So I've seen loads.
I've seen loads more food banks there.
Any ethnic minorities doing that?
They have one on Watley Street Road, don't they?
The big one.
The super mosque, is it?
There's that thing as well now. Have you seen it where you can download something and end at night, it's £2 or something to go and get a bag of shopping from
Too Good To Go. I've had that for time.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, no, it's really good, that. I got to go to Blackpool for coffee and everything, haven't it, mate?
What's it called?
Too Good To Go. It's basically restaurants or shops like Subway and Morrison's. You can get like the surprise bags, and they vary in price. I think the dearest to go up to like £3.50. And it's what's left over at end of night.
Right.
So rather than food
skip
waste,
it, I think it's good.
Yeah, it's really good. But Asda are doing one at the minute as well, aren't they? It doesn't matter if you're with your kids or not, and how many kids you got to customer service, and they're giving you, like for me, say 5 kids, 6 kids, giving your kids meals.
Or they advertise that then?
That's been on Facebook, Extreme Couponing UK. It's been advertised on there, and you don't actually have to have. I think it's like with every adult or whatever, but you can go in and you can just basically buy a coffee, and they give you your kids' meals for free, which is good, isn't it?
I know Morrison's, as you go in Morrison's, you've always got that end where they're going off a bit or not going off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I got half a chicken once and it was bloody lovely.
You're lucky to get anything in there though, aren't you, to be quite honest?
Costa doing off for 50p a coffee. Have you seen that one?
No. But yeah, there's a whole, even like say shops and that are helping a lot more, aren't they? Helping families out a lot more, and
So there's less waste, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about? There's 2 things I want to ask about. One is relationships. So we've had a bit of a chat about the family thing. What about couples? How has that been for people? Do you think? Have you heard anything?
We haven't argued as. But then there aren't like papers and that, and obviously Facebook and everything. You've heard a whole lot more domestic violence has gone through the roof on it. But I haven't actually heard of anybody.
I was talking to somebody this morning at some bed shop, and she said her life at minute with her partner is like Coronation Street.
Really?
I said you need to get out of it quick.
Because I guess one of the things of that is it doesn't come to light quite often, does it?
But it's people tend to forget. They think it's just women, but it's not men as well. Men suffer. I'd say a lot of men suffer without even people knowing, don't they?
Yeah.
But they're making a big thing about it at the moment, aren't they? Abuse, domestic abuse.
Yeah.
A massive thing about it at the moment.
Yeah.
Stop kicking that then.
So you're giving John Table domestic abuse now.
That doesn't do any harm, has it?
Just that girl this morning. Felt sorry for her.
No, I haven't personally heard anybody suffering with domestic abuse.
No.
But
in fact, it's brought they split up, didn't they?
Yeah.
And since lockdown, they've been having the drinks together. They've been having meals together. So it's brought them
oh,
two
that's
closer.
nice then, isn't it? So it can go. It's either
It
way,
has
really.
brought them
Isn't
a
it?
lot closer. She enjoys spending time with them now in the house having a drink.
Has it within your families? Has it helped any relations? I don't know, between sisters or How has the family dynamic been?
Mine's just...
I was a bit more worried about family members. Obviously, if they were isolating and stuff and they couldn't get to shops, I was worrying more over stuff like that. So, like you said, like you were doing your mum and dad's shopping. I was like doing all around the shopping, but obviously she's died now as well. I was like willing to, and then even on Facebook, I was like saying to people, if anybody needs anything while I'm at the shops, I'll drop it off and whatnot.
Have you through this? Have you made connections with any new people that you didn't know previously?
I did, yeah. Going to St Matthew's.
Rentman.
And the priest there, he was really nice, and like when my dad died, he gave me flowers, and he didn't really know me, but he like said a prayer and whatnot, so that were nice, because obviously I've not really ever been very religious, so it's sort of like, it was nice, it was a comfort really.
He didn't need to do it, did he? So
no,
nice.
Not at all.
I got a phone call a few weeks back from somebody called Adele from Ribbleton Medical Centre, just to check up on me.
All right.
Oh,
I thought, wow,
random thing.
this is something. She said, I'll ring up every month if it's all right, Mr. Morris, just to have a chat and see how you are and that. And it was great, she's dead sound and easy to get out to talk to, and we have a bit of a laugh,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's nice, yeah.
And it's quite a simple thing,
There
isn't it?
should be more things like that, really, anyway. Shouldn't there, like, once this COVID relaxes a bit, maybe, like, I don't know, have something where... Because there's still people on their own without COVID, this situation, isn't there? Who's still going to suffer being on their own and in their properties and not, nobody to speak to. And, it'd be nice, like, if you could have a list and then, and just have a conversation, even 10 minutes. You're still making somebody's day and breaking the day up, aren't you, for them as well?
Yeah, people are more suspicious of the proper ones, like Salvation Army and stuff. They always have an agenda.
Yeah.
Somehow,
right,
Jehovah's Witnesses and...
I got a personalised letter through last week.
I didn't know.
Well, 2 actually. One for me and one for Tony.
Took her a long time to write all that.
I thought that, yeah.
Yeah, I have no time for them. It's all to do with money as far as they're concerned. How much they can get.
Before lockdown, I used to bring them in, make them a cup of tea, mate. I keep them there all day. I think I scared them.
Who Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah, I'd sit in there all day, mate. I'd say, well, what about Noah's Ark? Why did he only take 2 animals, 2 of each?
But have there been other, like that thing of ringing up, have there been other examples of where people have helped, and other than the food bank? Have there been, I don't know, have you seen more police around?
No, I think police went down. Yeah, I've even I used to hear sirens virtually every second around on main road. I've never heard as many, nowhere near as many sirens.
Well, we did last week because of what? Fires.
Fires, I've seen more fire engines than police.
Police came round about 3 hours later when it were out and everything. And then last week I saw 3 police horses. I thought, well, that's novel. That's something new, isn't it?
They'll probably just take your horses for a run.
Probably were, yeah. They all look well turned out,
But has there been? I'm interested to know if there has been when you've been around the estate or driving through or whatever. Have you been aware that there's been over this period been less people on the street? Has it been evident that, or hasn't?
There was at the first one.
Yeah.
The first one, definitely.
It was quite
Everybody,
nice. Well, then again, it was quite eerie as well, weren't it?
Nice and peaceful, but...
Town were. Going in town, it was ridiculous.
But I think now the kids are not bothered.
No, they've gone past it all now, haven't
and I don't blame
Even
them.
adults now as well. I think I'm sort of like, I don't go out or anything as much anyway, but this weekend, first weekend, we actually had a trip out, but even then it was just you can't be bothered queuing up or anything, so... it's never going to get any better anytime soon, is it really?
No, people expecting to go on holiday this year. I can't see that at all.
We've just gone to look at tents instead, or I'm going to stay in England, I think, this year.
I think major stuff like that is going to take a while.
But I suppose it's been, I see people do actually stay in England, really, just to plough some money back into our society, rather than going abroad and ploughing it into us. Help us. It'd be...
Has there been... in terms of people's attitude, I'm interested to know about... we don't have much of an ethnic mix on the estate anyway. Have there been any examples, do you think, locally where...
Friction, right?
Well, potentially friction, or potentially helping people who might not normally get help by neighbours?
Not on mine. There's a lot on mine.
Yeah, you've got a lot of
I've got a lot of Asians come on now.
Oh, right, okay.
But we never hear of any nonsense.
Because you have an Asian family next door, I think, don't you?
Yeah, great family. I love them. Love them to bits. 4 little kids and discretion, he's an accountant, and she's... I don't know what she does, apart from having kids. But she always had the full thing on, the mask on and everything.
Right.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I know in the part of their religious thing is helping people, isn't it? So I know that you were talking about the temples and the mosques.
My mum's neighbour always drops food off. She gets a food parcel every week off her, and then she'll make mum a meal.
Oh, that's good,
Her
isn't
husband,
it?
yeah, really good with my mum.
That's nice, that, isn't it?
But the other side of them is another family, and they've been not but bother since they came. Another Asian family. He runs taxis, as taxis or something.
All
like
right.
that. And when he first came, he was parking bloody minibuses right along the front.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people are actually living in the place. You're not going to find that out, are you? But now he's bought next doors as well, so he made it all into one. So it looks like he's taking the whole clear hall.
Yeah.
And I think I need to say at this point as well that there's certain things where names have been mentioned and stuff like that, and we'll be editing.
Yeah,
that
sure, yeah.
So going forward, then, if we're going to have these conversations, what do you think would be useful subjects to concentrate on to try and get a bit more detail about? Do you think?
I think next week are you having one next week? I think maybe you bring
Yeah, do a child side
a child
of it.
one for school. Obviously, she's dropped out of school.
And different ages.
I'll try Youlean in because she's 21.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, get a range of ages, young
From
people.
different, you're getting it from every side then, aren't you?
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that would be good. Because I think there's a lot of stuff around young people, but also it's a big education thing. It's a big thing about mental health with them. Other than that, is there anything else that you think would be really good to concentrate on?
Maybe somebody who'd be willing to chat if they've gone through domestic violence, if you know anybody. Obviously, you'd have to want to keep a bit...
Maybe I could speak to that girl.
I mean, we can keep people anonymous, obviously.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it's a big thing to talk about that, isn't it? But maybe, that could be a one-to-one anonymous thing if she was
Probably
interested
be better,
in doing
wouldn't
that.
it, really?
What are the other big issues, do you think? What about employment? I know that's been one of the things talked about nationally, that certain people...
But you know what? It's not been a big problem around this estate. I've not heard of anybody going like, I've lost my job and where's my next meal coming from?
No,
I think it's like this estate, or maybe your estate, we all stick together. I've not heard of...
I tell you what was good though, when we did the Santa walk, the kids' faces was unreal.
Yeah.
It was so good, honestly. You had people running out giving us money and stuff, and was like, no, it's fine, we're doing it all ourselves.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody. I've heard a few people being furloughed, but they've not whinged.
No.
Because what have the employers in Preston that have gone bang? I mean, obviously Debenhams has gone tits up. Have there been other companies that have gone?
And all Thingy, didn't she? Also, Thingy laid off from Superdrug, didn't she?
Yeah.
So she went working for NHS as a cleaner. But she didn't really
She didn't whinge or...
No.
Just carried on with it.
Yeah, you got to.
Because retail obviously has been hit, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because they've just not
Definitely.
been open.
Yeah, but there were the usual suspects that would have done anyway, if anything like that happened, which would be the pubs. Yeah.
Wasn't Debenhams always looking at shutting down anyway? But
It was too expensive anyway.
Yeah. Because they've always been, for quite a while, they've been speaking about shutting Debenhams down anyway, haven't they? So it was in the pipeline, weren't it, really?
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, knock it on, Fed. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're good.